No sound? No sound? Am I good now? And I can't see any comments. Sound, we good? We good? Hello, hello, test, test. All right, I'm sorry, y'all. Technical difficulties. This is my first Adrian King. All right, no sound. Okay, so we got sound. All right, we got sound. We got sound. All right, I've been doing all of that talking, and y'all wouldn't even, I was pouring my heart out to y'all. All right, anyways, I was saying all that to say Wildcat Warehouse started as an apparel brand, right? And in 2022, when the whole Ed Reed thing happened, um, I decided to write an article. And the article was essentially about what happened with Ed Reed and all this stuff. And it took off. Like a lot of people took notice of it. I got cited on HBCU game day. The news called me for something for like a discussion. And so um I was I was given an epiphany that Wildcats needed something more than just what they were being fed from the school. And what I realized was there was an information gap, and there was stuff that was happening with the institution and things that were being regurgitated to us, and we didn't really know what to make of it. So the biggest thing for me was like, okay, how can I make sense of all of this stuff and um, provide you all with information that's number one, unbiased, two, like it's straight from the source, and I try my best not to paint anything with my own personal biases. Um, so today there was a couple of comments online that let me know that I need to make this statement clear. I am not, the Av is not, Wildcat Warehouse, we are not affiliated with the institution at all. Like, we are alumni and we're affiliated in the sense that we went to the school and we care about what's happening with the institution, but we're not being paid. They haven't given me any kickback to say anything. Like, everything that I give you is basically either the facts, my opinion about those facts, um, or it just whatever it is. So I want people to know we are not a spokesperson for the school. We are not an arm of the school. We are not an affiliate of the school. Um, we're just doing our thing and essentially doing like civic journalism, so to speak. So I feel like I needed to make that clear. Also, and but before we bring on our guest Deric Feacher to talk alumni and some things, I'm go over a few things, some announcements, and just some things I've been wanting to share with you all. Um, let's go. I mentioned this. This is on the website, not the website, but this is on um, Instagram and Facebook. If you live in Atlanta, tomorrow they're doing their first social. And I gave my word to, and I'm going to mess up her name again, Sean Terica Hall. She's the president of the Atlanta chapter. I told her the Av is here to help you amplify um, whatever you guys need. And they're trying to rebuild the Atlanta chapter from scratch. All the chapters, they're trying to rebuild from scratch. And I told them, y'all have my support. I'm gonna help you as best way I can so that we can help them build something in a way that is acceptable to us. There's some people that feel a way about it, and that's okay. I know some people are not on, they're not on that type of time yet, and that's okay. We'll get there. Um, Also, if you would like to, if you got a small business and you want to partner with the show, do me a favor and reach out to me. Email's right there, and we can try to figure something out. I am looking for a title sponsor, so I'll be full transparency. I don't know how that looks, but let's talk. All right. Um, and I want to make a special announcement. I was gonna wait until the end of the show to talk about this, but I'm gonna do it now because I know once Deric and I get into it, I don't want to have to go back and do the church announcements at the end of this whole thing. Um, so let me do this. Y'all ready? I'm about to drop an announcement on y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready to do something special for the alumni in 2025. Uh, we are putting a team together to present to you all what we have titled or named the Golden Honors, and this is basically an awards program that we haven't fully fleshed out yet, but it's gonna essentially we're gonna give you guys all the honor that you guys deserve as alumni. This will be our annual signature event, and we're going to choose anywhere from 20, 25. I'm not sure of the number, but we're going to figure that out. And every year we're going to honor you guys for the work that you do, and for all the stuff you do to help represent the institution. And I think you guys are amazing. Chantel, you already know we've been rocking. Thank you. You're one of those people that I believe, deserve to get your flowers. And so we're going to be presenting this. Listen, full transparency, we don't have all the details, but I have asked my lovely wife, Michelle, she's also an alum, to chair the committee, because she was a part of 40 under 40. I think the last one they did. So she has some insight to that. And this is not 40 under 40. Your age would not be, won't be age prohibitive. So you can be a new alumni or you can be an older seasoned saint. And if we feel like, you're doing your thing, guess what? We're going to give you your flowers. All right. And that's that. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and get my man, Mr. Deric Feacher in here so we can talk. Let's see. There he is.
Can you
Deric
hear me?
Feacher.
Feature,
Feature.
yeah.
Feature. My bad. I said Feature. Deric Feature. I want to make sure everybody get that right.
You good?
So let's do this. I'm sorry. I'm going to put you up on the right screen. Uh-oh. All right. We'll leave you there. And I'm still learning how to work these buttons, y'all. All right. How you doing today, man?
I'm making it. There's a lot happening here in Daytona Beach.
Oh my gosh. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm not going to get into the details of that, but there is some ruckus going on campus this evening. To the people who may or may not know, the students did uh, do a sit-in and a protest during the board meeting. And yeah, I don't have a lot of information. I don't know the ins and the outs, so I won't get into that tonight because we have a scheduled discussion that I think is equally as important. And listen, I can see all of your comments as they come in. So do me a favor, if you got a question or if you got something that you want us to touch on, feel free to shoot us a comment, and this will be an interactive show. I don't want to just sit here and talk and y'all stare and look, but listen, let's talk. All right. My man, Deric, tell us about how do you become the city manager of Daytona Beach?
It is a appointed position by 7 elected officials. So I got 7 bosses. They all got their own personalities. They got their own agendas. They got their own political persuasions and parties. And I applied for the job here in Daytona Beach, and out of about 140 some applicants, I got down to the top five and then the top two. Became the city manager because my background, my degree is in political science from Bethune-Cookman.
Mm.
I've worked in the profession since 2001. This is my third city government job. And so the commissioners, I think they like what I said. It really, I know that one of the pluses was I knew the area of Daytona Beach because I went to Bethune-Cookman. So I think that gave me a plus. And not only did I just go to Bethune-Cookman, but I lived in Midtown and I also lived on the west side
Mm.
of the city. So I kind of knew both areas. And the seven commissioners out of the seven, six of them voted for me to come here. And so that's the concept of being able to manage this $350 million budget, 87 some thousand residents,
Wow.
about 10 million visitors to Daytona Beach every day. And then also the 87 some thousand residents, that doesn't include the 44,000 college students that come here to one of the six colleges and universities that's on International Speedway.
Wow.
Because it's six of them, and people don't
Yeah.
realize that.
Yeah. Well, six colleges.
It's six colleges and universities. Um,
So
so
what
Bethune
is
Cookman,
okay, go ahead.
Bethune Cookman, Emory Riddle Aeronautical University,
Okay.
Daytona State College, Kaiser University,
Oh, Kaiser,
UCF, and
UCF,
the Florida State School of Medicine.
and Florida State.
Only how
Yep.
many places can you go from a pre-K to a PhD or MD and never leave off of one street and it's in Daytona Beach?
I have never heard Daytona put like that. Wow.
Because we've never created it, and
Yeah.
I don't think our university takes advantage of having programs also, not only our university but Kaiser, Daytona State, Emory, UCF, and Florida State. So you can come here as a pre-K student and never leave Daytona Beach and walk away with a PhD or an MD in three or four different academic settings, from criminal justice to MBA to med school, to political science, to associate's degrees, all the way down to cutting hair, being a plumber and electrician.
Yeah, and that's amazing because you know what, and Daytona is such a, and I guess I would even now that's an underrated
Yes.
aspect of the city that a lot of people probably would never have come to the realization that number one is that many collegiate institutions there, but that you could go run the gamut essentially from an academic standpoint. So that's cool. So I'm gonna jump over to this alumni stuff, and I know
Yeah.
back in December, you or that November, you hosted a meeting. It was after homecoming, and people were a little that thing we do after homecoming where we kind of get together to kind of kumbaya about what's wrong and what's right, and we had that call that you hosted. And I don't know if we had an update, but is there an update on your uh relations or communication with the institution with respect to that particular discussion?
Yeah, well, I was supposed to have a meeting with individuals from the institution. The meeting got canceled. There were
Mm.
some issues that came up. I'm not going to stop trying to have that meeting. I think it's critical, but it's also helping me to realize that although I'm here in Daytona Beach, there still needs to be a bridge of the chasm that's there for
Yeah.
them to understand that there are alumni that are not all over the world but also local, believe that we can do some things locally. So that after the first of the year, when I talked to some of the representatives, we were going to meet to talk, because I took down all of the notes. And I think that if the university truly wants to bridge the gap with alumni, this is a prime opportunity for them to do that. And it will also show me, who is the chief administrator here, if
Hmm.
there really is a desire, since I am here locally, that have the opportunity to talk to them. But it's the door is open. It's just a matter of getting the date for that meeting, and hopefully they do it. If they don't do it, it will show me also what some other individuals in the alumni sphere have been trying to do for the past couple of years of reaching out and connecting.
Yeah, that is probably. Everyone's biggest gripe right now is just the lack of communication with the alumni base, and then the lack of transparency among those types of things and how some decisions are made. And I think you're doing I think you're doing it right. I think the first thing you have to do is try to reestablish those lines of communications that were closed. And I think what we're doing now, even having this discussion, is going to ultimately benefit, hopefully, or be fruitful with future discussions. Because listen, we're serious, right? Like, we're getting together now and we're trying to do the work, and we're trying to make sure that the institution knows, like, we mean no harm. Like, we are the alumni, we're a part of the fabric of the institution. So why you guys choose to not include us, or to maybe keep us in outside of the circle of whatever you want to call it, like, we don't want to be close to that circle. Like, we need to be in the circle, like students, like the board, like the faculty, like leadership. The alumni is a hub, or a spoke in the hub. So
Yeah.
um but it hasn't felt like that recently. And so what do you say to the alumni who are just exhausted of it, right? Like, what do you say to them?
I always, as being one who worked in the president's office under Dr. Bronson, Dr. Shirley Belief, also Ann Taylor, and even for Clarence Childs for a while,
Mm,
to hear the stories of Dr. Bethune's life, and then also to work for the city now and be able to understand how Dr. Bethune, the first place where we had running water, indoor plumbing, electricity, was on the campus of Bethune Cookman because of Mary McLeod Bethune refusing to give up. So I always go back to that process. If Mary McLeod Bethune could be standing on campus and the Ku Klux Klan
mm,
is riding around her campus every day, if they're telling her to get out of town, and she still refused to leave and kept coming back to City Hall in road, spitting on the kids, wouldn't even let the student go into the hospital to get emergency care. How in the world can I stand back and let two or three individuals
yeah.
tell me that I don't have access to the legacy that I am part of the Black Rose family?
Hello.
So it doesn't matter to me how many times they tell me no, because I can't even fathom not a black man in 1904 starting an institution of higher learning, but a black woman who I know was told no 100 times. That probably when the board of trustees came around during that time when she was in charge of school, they probably, some of them probably were saying, "Why would we have a woman as a leader of our institution?"
Oh, absolutely.
And so I always say that I have to go back to that, even in my days of being upset and mad about transactions that may take place. I always go back and say there was a black woman standing on the steps in front of Whitehall or on her house when the Klan said they were coming to burn down her house, and she still stood. And if it were not for that, I would not be where I am. So I look at every situation as an opportunity to make it right, regardless of who's sitting at the table or who's not. And so I tell alumni all the time, some of these individuals that you're mad at, they're not a son and daughter of the legacy. And so we've got to continue to advocate for what's best for the institution, because it's not about an individual, it's about the institution.
Yeah.
And I know we get mad, and we have to say, well, and so although I was upset about situations, I made a promise that I was going to create an endowment at the university. I made that promise when I walked out of the chapel, Whitehall, and lit a candle with Dr. Bronson and walked to the grave. In my mind, I said, if I ever have the resources to do an endowment, a personal endowment, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Now, and I knew that I had to do that to make, but I make sure where the money goes. And so, although I may be concerned about issues and stuff, I need the legacy of Dr. Bethune and Bethune Cookman University to thrive, because my degree has that name on it, and it follows
Absolutely.
me to office to office.
You know, And I'm thinking I'm actually getting an error. All right, let's see what's happening. I'm getting an error on the stream. All right, but I think it's good now. Um, one of my, I think, the things that have been kind of concerning to me, um, there's a attitude with some alumni that almost right now there's a small minority that nothing can be done right by the institution. And I think my fear is that when we have so many and I don't want to say so many, but there are people that are louder than the people who are just like just trying to like keep the ship afloat. And I think what happens is there's a that loud little minority of people make it seem like things are so much worse than they actually are. And that kind of frustrates me a little bit because again, and not to get into like who did this or who didn't do that. There is good and bad with the situation at Bethune-Cookman. There's a lot of things we can learn from. There's a lot of things that like I despise that they've done, but there's also been a lot of things that are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe like we were able to like do that. For example, when we were able to pull ourselves out of the correct that the dorm deal and pull ourselves off of probation. And people don't realize how much work and how much pain the institution had to deal with to get off of Sachs probation. And then some, we got those alumni that are like, well, it's not enough. We don't have a president. I'm like, yeah, but like some of the critical things that the school is needed to like survive, like we cleared those hurdles. And so again, my question to you is what do you say to the people, the alumni who aren't seeing the progress because of whatever reason?
I deal with this every 2 weeks. 87 to 90,000 residents, and we have 10 that come to our commission meetings every single week complaining about something. But it's all right to complain. But I tell people don't come with just a complaint, come with a solution. And they're gonna and also it's okay to be mad, but does that madness move to a movement to make positive impact in the community? And I'm here on the in the area, and I always have to say the SACS accreditation dealt with oversight and administration, did not deal with academics. We were not on probation because of academics, so we need to be clear about that. Then there are also other institutions of higher learning, especially HBCUs, that are going through presidents like like they go through paper
Yeah.
towels
Yeah.
each month. When I looked up earlier how many um, um, interim presidents we have at all of our HBCUs, but you think about it, we've gone through 4, 5, or 6 presidents in the interim capacity in the last 5 to 6 years. Um,
Yeah.
I have to I have to actually channel what I want to focus on in regards to getting the right person in the role that's going to help to take our university to the next level. So I can get mad and also become a social activist on social media platforms, and nobody really does anything because that's a lot of things. That's what we do a lot. We go back and forth online, and it really is not moving the needle.
Hmm.
It's just agitating the situation, and we've got to do a concerted effort and talk to the right people. But we can't be mad and just continue to be mad, scream and yell. We've got to actually focus it.
Yeah.
But we've all see we've all been in that situation, man. You get mad, especially when you don't think people are listening to you,
Right.
or when the people that should be listening to you have closed you out. And that's
Hmm.
one of the things we've got to find a way. But we've got to really elevate what's great about the institution
Yes.
and what's not. Because let me tell you, I'll use prime example for the city. People say Daytona Beach is dirty. Nobody's going to the beach. Nobody like it. It's terrible. It's nothing to do. You don't have enough. And I said to myself, so we got 10 million people that come to this city every year. We've got 5 or 6 NASCAR races where over 200,000 people are coming. We got 44,000 college students
Yeah.
that their parents, their grandparents, their friends, their aunts send to Daytona Beach every year. So people can. I don't talk about. You'll never hear me talk about what's negative in Daytona Beach. I never do that. I try to accentuate what's positive. So I talk about how we have students that are doing great things at the institution. What's when you've got people, the nursing program improvement, even though and there are issues in the nursing program, but
Hmm.
as far as the graduation rates, where does it rank? We Why don't we highlight that more than where you may have a professor that's not helping a student get where, and that's where I think our problems is. We put all of our issues out there, um, and not. How many people are still talking about what took place at the University of Florida with their president?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
How many
so
people?
I'm gonna tell you why people aren't talking about it is because some of these schools understand how to crisis manage, better than I think we have been recently. And that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. Crisis management on our campus. I do have a question, and this has come up so many times, and I actually just thought about it as you were talking. I heard so many people worried that the city of Daytona is trying to actively shut down the school so that they can fold it into Daytona Beach community or whatever
State
the
college, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I don't hear it as much like now, but I remember when things were kind of, on thin ice, people were like they're doing this on purpose so that, they can fold Bethune into the state system and all that stuff. I'm just like I just maybe I'll let you speak to it.
How can the city do that? City has no control over closing or opening a private institution first.
Right.
Secondly, why would the city want to close down an economic engine in the heart of a community that it will end up being like Morris Brown was for the city of Atlanta in the AU Center
Mm-hmm.
for 20 some years of, of homelessness, of graffiti, of trash? Why would you want to do something like that for an institution? I heard the same thing for many years before I even came to Daytona Beach.
Mm.
Now, I would not say that there will be individuals in Tallahassee that would want to um, open new programs at Daytona State or Embry-Riddle, but why would the city want to do that in the heart of a community? And they don't have the authority to. The
Right.
city doesn't have the authority to do that. And then you think about it, the university is using a large majority of the facilities that brings in revenue to the city, um, because Mainland High School and Seabreeze High School is not paying 70 some $1,000 a year to use municipal stadium.
Right.
The
So
softball team
are
is
we
using.
paying that?
Oh yes, we pay a pretty penny to utilize the stadium, but the benefits that come because they see a return on all of the parking,
Oh,
return
sure.
on the
Sure.
the liquor sales and the
Yeah.
concessions. Because I have people telling me, why don't the city build, I mean the university build a stadium on campus? Well, let's do the math here. Stadium right now for 10,000 people, which we just did a master plan stadium because we're looking at building, moving the stadium if necessary onto I-95, where the city owns about 600 acres. A 10,000 seat stadium is 30 to 50 million dollars.
Wow.
So Bethune Cookman that only sells out, if any, between 8,000 and 10,000 seats homecoming at $40 a pop. 2 years ago, the university played 3 games in the municipal stadium for their home games, and the other one was in Jacksonville. So the university is going to build a stadium for 30 to 40 million dollars on campus. That's just for the stadium. That does not include a 1,000 car garage that is 30. What is it? It's $30,000 per parking space. When we look at, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Let's do the numbers. 20 to
Wow.
30. So the university is going to spend almost $100,000 on the stadium that may never get full on campus in a neighborhood that some of the residents in Daytona Beach hate, that the dorms that are over there where the LLC were built and moved people out. How are we going to fund that
Yeah.
as a university where we may play 3 to 5 games a year?
Well,
And
you
then
just
the
poured a
alumni,
lot of cold water
yeah. So and
on
you got to
that.
maintain it.
Yeah.
So and we have a now we got a tailgate that will be amazing. So state schools, where you've got around FAMU, where the streets are blocking, the community is embracing that, but they have the parking right there. But the university is going to be on the old band practice, the old band field area to build a stadium that will be 10,000 seats. You've got to have at least 5,000 parking spaces.
Hmm.
Where they're going to park, and who's going to maintain a 30 to 40 million dollar stadium on the campus of Bethune-Cookman, and you have this, and it's going to be packed every game. Win, lose, or
Yeah.
draw. Florida State won how many games this year? Two.
Yeah.
But guess what? They were packed every game. So they're
Yeah.
still paying it. And so I often have to balance that out with, I would a football field near the campus to make it easy to walk. But when I look at the numbers from a business standpoint, Deric Feacher is not giving no $20,000 to $30,000 a year to Bethune Cookman as an
Right.
alum. And I know that $30 to $40 million stadium that will be empty, except for 3 to 4 games out of the year and maybe track and field. Who's going to fund and maintain that? And so I think people, we need to be wise of, although it sounds good,
Yeah. That
you
sounds
know,
great.
it sounds great, but we go to a tailgate and Club Keach is live, all the way live. Everybody's not going into that stadium.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're staying out. So the same concept will go there if we're even on campus. And so I always, I've tried to relate it, and I was so glad when I got those numbers to go, come on, man. Bethune Cookman doesn't have $40 million to put into a stadium on campus that may only get
No,
filled when the football team is winning. Because if we're not winning,
they ain't showing up.
5,000 people not going into the stands.
Nah, nah. Well, thank you for ruining my dream. Um, that's all of our dream though. We like that's like the ultimate alumni dream for Cookman is to have homecoming like on the yard. Speaking of on the yard, I think that was a big point of contention with
Definitely.
the institution and alumni this year. Now, I don't I try my best to remain very uh just not beating up the institution too much. I will, if I feel like there's something wrong that needs to be addressed, like I'll say it. But one of the issues, again, that was talked about in the meeting was just the lack of an inviting and a welcoming environment on the yard for homecoming. And I to me that's an easy fix. Number one,
Definitely.
turn the lights on at night. Right? When everybody's on campus. Turn the lights on. But also just having more, and I think this was said on that call, just having events and more to do on campus and just make people want to come and hang out. And it's just like it hasn't been that. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that, and I'll probably be playing the devil's advocate, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that because of their budget cuts and lack of head count and manpower, um I just think those things have like fallen to the wayside, like
Mm.
just having the campus be what it used to be, filled with like just energy and just vibes for homecoming. It hadn't been that in probably 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So, and I know you can't speak directly to the budget, but do you think I'm right to assume that is probably where that stems from?
Well, we're gonna disagree.
Okay.
I I don't think it has a lot to do with the budget. I think it has a lot to do with um, those who are in charge wanting to activate the space for alumni.
Okay.
I'm there
That's
during
fair.
the week. Yeah, I'm there during the week.
Yeah.
The students' activities, they are spending the student activities. They got every major artist. They got Junkanoo. They got Goombay all Sunday to Wednesday and Thursday. They got the step shows. You can't get in if you don't get your tickets early for the students. You're not getting in. The pack is totally full. And
Mm-hmm.
then we get there on Friday, and I'm trying to figure out like, did homecoming even start? And I think that what we need to do is take that same energy and and put something on Friday. I mean that's I don't, and I think that they want to do it, and I just be frank. I say to because two of my frat brothers um, are on the campus leading the charge, and I know what I experienced when I was a student. Even from the dorms being decorated by the dorms, the students, the class leaders decorate. And so the students, when I talk to them, many of those students are having a good time on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays.
Yeah.
It's crazy that I got family members with the last name Feacher on the campus, and some of the administrators and RAs and stuff didn't even know that those are my nieces and cousins. Um, but they're having a good time. But when we come on campus, it's almost like, do you want us on campus or not?
Well, I'm glad you said that because I do think that's what it feels like because I just couldn't for the life of me figure out like what was happening with the how dark the campus was. I'm like, why is it so dark? And yeah, it's just I don't get it. And I'm having looks like I'm having an error on the live stream. I'm not sure what that's about. I don't know if anybody is seeing that. If you have lost the feed, type in the comments. Y'all pray for me. This is my first time going live, and I'm figuring some things out here. Um,
Well, everybody may not be praying for your show to be a success. Now, you better make sure you tell the people that if you're praying for success, y'all pray for it. But if you're
Hey,
praying for
listen,
something,
man. That's what it is. Can y'all at least hear me, or is it just yeah? I don't know what's going on. If it's my connection or what, but yeah, see the screen went green, and I don't know why. They can hear. I'm gonna keep talking. And we're about done. And I'm gonna wrap it up because I don't know how long this screen is gonna last like this, which kind of stinks. Um, but all right, hold on one second. I'm sorry, y'all.
no, you good.
Yeah, devil is busy, y'all. Right.
Say they can hear.
Yeah, I don't understand. Well, I'm going to just keep at it. We're about done, anyways. But don't go anywhere, y'all. Let me just do my last thing. Um, Brother Feacher, I appreciate you for taking this time. I know I may have to cut it short because of this buffering thing I'm dealing with. But I appreciate you, man. And I
Hey,
wanted to tell you to your face that I appreciate everything you're doing for us because we are like we're not there. I'm up in Atlanta, and so we have to figure out um you know what's happening through whatever mean we can find it. And people having people like you around really does make me feel
About really Dr. Bethune, so we can really make an impact in its community.
out of that. There's a lot of that. And all right, it just came back up on my end. Yeah, there's a lot of people who are just seeing red and they can't get past it. And I'm just trying to get people to understand, listen, like we can't wait until things get back perfect again or get back good again
Yeah.
to re-engage. We can't wait until everything is right to re-engage. Like right now, they need us. Those kids need us. Yeah,
Oh,
I don't know if y'all really understand what happened today at the school and what's happening on campus. I'm going to keep my mouth shut until I know more, but it is not. All right,
uh,
I gotta ask the Lord to bridle my tongue right now because I don't want to say anything wrong. But just know that they need us, right? They need us. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this because I think unless we can keep going, y'all
oh,
feel all right.
they
Well,
said
if
they
we
still
keep
there.
talking,
Uh,
but y'all
yeah,
still there, we gonna keep it rolling for maybe 5 more minutes.
you
But
said something. You said something positive about they need us. What those students need also. I mean, they need us, but they need to also hear truth. They also need to hear facts. And I put a post up that a lie can get around the world
oh my
before
gosh,
truth can put their shoes on.
yes,
And we create a narrative. Individuals will create a narrative and have students doing things. Our students will create a narrative and be doing things. And what we need to do is look beyond the individual or the individuals and look at the institution.
yeah,
We need an effective and efficient leader to
yes,
lead Bethune Cookman to the next level. One that loves the university, regardless if it's one that's currently on the campus now or one that they'll bring in. I'm not going to be one that says what they need because there are people in Daytona Beach that don't think I should be the city manager. But
well, yeah,
7 officials get to make that decision, and I have to pray enough that God will give them wisdom to make sure they take care of the legacy of Dr. Bethune.
yes.
And so the students also need to be wise about um, who they hear from and then what they say. Because we will never know. It don't matter what. We are not the board of trustees. We're not the president. We're not the provost. We're not the VP. We're not the CFO. So we've got to make sure that when we speak to them, I can't come on your job and tell you how to do your job and you
Hello.
be happy with it. I can't come and sit in your office. If somebody was to come and try to bogart their way into City Hall and I hit that emergency button, when the police come, they going down.
Yeah.
No matter what. And so there is a way of how you do something. It can't be a moment. It has to be a movement. And so that's the thing that we Bethune Cookman is not going anywhere if we do what we're supposed to do.
I would
The
agree.
academics are good. We just need to make sure that there's someone sitting in the seat that has a love for the legacy of Dr. Bethune and those young people on that campus.
Yeah.
But if you go type in right now, and that's why I don't want people to get it twisted. If you go type in interim presidents of universities, there are so many. And so I don't get caught up in being interim. What I get caught up in is making sure that the right person that assumes the role of president of Bethune Cookman University is one that's dedicated to raising the funds, to academic excellence, and a student-centered leadership model. And that's all. But we get so caught up in who's sitting at the head of the table so right now that we get beyond that. Could you imagine if we all just wrote a letter saying, instead of screaming and yelling about what's not being done,
Mm-hmm.
we wrote a letter saying this is the type of leader we want,
Hello.
and we bombarded just like if you in the church and they say we want you to bombard heaven. You
Yeah.
know, I hit up my man, we gonna bombard heaven. I'm like, if y'all bombard me, I'm gonna get upset and pissed off on my job. But God wants us to bombard him. If we were to bombard them with all of the great qualities we want in the president, but you know what we were bombarding with? We don't want no lying president. We don't want no cheating president. We
Yeah.
don't want no president that's gonna steal our money. We don't want no president that's trying to go to the next level. Can we say we want an effective and efficient leader who's gonna be out there and fundraise? Do we
Mm-hmm.
want someone that is concerned about academic excellence curriculum, that you don't have to leave our institution if you want to go ahead and get a PhD? Do we have a president that's going to focus on articulation agreements with Emerita, that when you leave Bethune-Cookman with a computer science degree, you can go get a master's in computer science and cybersecurity right there? Do we have students that are going to have the articulation agreement that says those biology and chemistry students are going to go up to Tallahassee to Florida State and then come back here for their last 2 years and do their residency program? Do we have those articulation agreements in place?
Yeah.
Do we have, they got an illegal barbershop and an illegal beauty salon in Bronson Hall right now.
Yeah.
Why don't we just send them down to Daytona State for 6 months while they're in school,
Yeah.
get a cosmetology degree and a barber degree, and then one of them vacant rooms we open up a barber shop, have those students cutting hair, doing hair, have
That's an
the business
amazing.
students, the business students doing their taxes, creating their LLCs, but we're not doing the hands-on things when we got the opportunity. And that's what I'm saying. I don't care about you telling we need a leader to be sitting up in the chair, because what happens when you get a leader to take the full-time presidential role and they only doing it for their next step?
Oh
Have we
yeah.
done what we're supposed to do? And
Yeah.
that's what I don't want. I think that's the key. Everybody says we want to lead, and I want a leader, but I want the right leader at the right time that's going to be there. And so I don't get back and forth and caught up in, oh, you know, who's this old, who's this young, or how long they. Let's focus on what do we want and not what we don't want.
Yes. You mentioned truth, and Sky Confections mentioned the question was, how do we as alumni help the student body hear truth and facts? And I think that is a battle that I didn't think we'd have to fight. But again, without getting too into the weeds politically speaking with the school, that is becoming a little bit of an issue. And it's like, how do we as alumni step in and say, listen, you're hearing some stuff, but that's, that's not what's really happening.
Mhm.
Because I believe a little bit of that is happening right now. And yeah, it's unfortunate. Um,
Well, you know why we it's hard for them to hear us? Because we come at it from the negative standpoint.
no, true. That's
We
true.
we come out with that, and we attack an individual and not an institution of the negativity. When I talk to students who I know are hearing sometimes the wrong information,
Hmm.
they're students, so they need to use their brain. So I ask the questions to make them think, and I ask, "Are you hearing this, or have you read this?" Because everybody was thinking, many people talking about, oh, y'all was on probation with sex, but it had nothing to do with academics. When people are saying you're a high school, you're just a little
Right.
junior college, and so you change the narrative and come to the students in a way that they don't see you as angry at the situation, but as someone that's saying we want to sustain the university because you're part of that legacy. And
Hmm.
so I don't even focus on the individuals in the seats. I focus on the issue. And so often we can't get to the issue, man, because we're focusing on the individual.
That's true. I, and
And
I,
and,
I'm
and
guilty of that. I think I'm very guilty of that. So thank you for checking me on that. But and to my point, like, it's, I think when we have gone through what we've gone through as an institution over the last 6 to 8 years, and we've seen people come and, you know, pilfer the coffers of the institution, is like, you can't do anything but like start calling folk out. But I agree with your approach, especially with dealing with the students. And instead of dealing with the people, we deal with the actual institution of the issues and the negativity and the problems. Because when we come at them with the negativity, I also think that that feeds a much bigger monster, that the adults have created. Like the kids are just standing there and they're like they're sponges, like they haven't lived long enough to understand what's happening. And so even today they're in the sit-in, and I was telling my wife earlier, like, I commend them for letting their voices be heard. Like, I appreciate that and I commend them for that. I just want to make sure that they're doing it under the correct pretenses, and under, like, you're if you're gonna be angry, make sure you angry at the right person or at the right situation or at the right
Hmm.
whatever. And so uh I think us as alumni, we have a lot of work to do with getting back reconnected officially with the students. And so look, it's 9, man, and we've been going, and I think this is great. I want to have you back on. Um,
Anytime.
and I don't want to chance my luck. We've been going. I know I had a couple of hiccups tonight, but this was a great first night. And I thank you, man. And I know we've been trying to get this together for
Yeah.
about a month now. So I'm glad you.
Well, anytime, man. Like literally anytime, and hopefully after I'm able to have a meeting with the
Yeah.
administration, it'd be a good platform to come back on.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. We want to get
and
an
I,
update. We want to get an update.
and you keep doing
So
what you're doing. Literally,
yeah.
you are you are transforming the very fabric of the thought process
Mm.
of us as alumni. And I know you positive for the university more than you can even imagine. And some people don't like that. Some people want you to be mad at the rural and
Yeah.
mad at the institution. But so I'm married. If I was to be mad at every little simple thing that my wife did, and if she was going to be mad at everything I did, but you have to learn your way. It is about Mary McLeod Bethune.
Yes,
It,
yes,
it
that's what it's about. Yep. I try my best, man, to come at this from a very logical, very sane. I'm a static individual anyways. I don't get too far up or too far down about anything. So it's natural for me to just not get up in arms, and people come on my post and they try to, argue and debate, and I'm like, I'm not gonna, so yeah, I appreciate it. And yeah, listen, y'all, I appreciate everybody that joined tonight. I wish I had it a little bit tighter, but I'm learning. And if you all can see, there's a little thing right there that says support the show. Now listen, it takes a little bit to do what I'm doing. I'm not asking for no dollar amount. I'm not asking nothing. But if you feel compelled to support the show financially, please, there's your way. There's your way to do it. It'll help me, like, with equipment and stuff. So the next time we do this, maybe I have a better camera, better control board or something. I don't know.
well, wait,
But
what camera you using now?
I have a older Canon EOS. Like, it's not for this, but as you can see, my picture's pretty good. So it's
Yeah.
doing, you know. But yeah, we want to build the show, and we want to use our contributors. And uh is he in here? EH Tucker actually sent $25 yesterday. Thank you so much. I'm gonna, like, I didn't, you sometimes you just don't know if people listening or they watching, but like, that's amazing. I appreciate you. And I want to make sure I shout you out personally for being the first person to contribute to the show. There's a couple other people I want to shout out. Gelda Frank just became a doctor. She got a doctorate, I think, or is getting ready to walk. Congrats to her. And Kamisha Whitaker is now is it CEO
Yep. CEO,
of
president, CEO of Boys and Girls Club,
president
Volusia
CEO of
County.
Boys and Girls Club of Volusia County. Listen, Wildcats out here getting after it. That's all I got, y'all. Uh, Brother Derek, I appreciate you. And we gonna do this again next week, y'all. I'm gonna try to have this figured out. All right. Y'all just pray for me. I'm stressing. I was supposed to do this Tuesday and I couldn't get it right. So increments, baby steps. All right.
What we gonna start calling the show? The Can't Get Right Show then.
Hey, listen, at this point. So thank y'all, man. I'm out of
Good
here.
enough.